So the greatest victory is over self. Tell me what it means for you and how that actually impacted your life.
Yeah. I think to understand what it means, I've got to explain how it emerged, right? And I shared a little bit of it earlier on, but I'll give you a bit more of the story. So my first book, The Magic of Monday, when I wrote that book, I wanted to obviously serve the world. It was particularly written for young professionals. But I sent a copy of the manuscript out to some people, some friends, and they sent their feedback to me. And guess how long it took me to open their feedback and read it? Just guess.
2 months.
I wish it was 2 months. It was 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Wow.
And the reason is I remember feeling so afraid. I thought, but what if they say it's terrible?
Wow.
What if they say it's rubbish? And what if they say it's not good enough? And so here I am, right? On the one hand, I want to serve and I want to make a difference. At the same time, inside of me is this fear and doubt and uncertainty and limiting beliefs that are holding me back. And I just realized, wow, I can be my greatest supporter. I can also be my greatest critic. And I can block my success, all because of what's going on in here, all because of what's going on in here. So there was that story. And then when the book came out, and it came out in about 2012, and I was trying to launch another business, and that failed. That was when I went into this season of depression and suicidal thoughts. And that's because I was giving copies of the book out, and people say, Obi, wow, well done. You must be so proud. But financially, things were so challenging that I was paying our mortgage on the credit card. And I was feeling it as people say, Obi, well done. And I'm smiling externally, but inside I'm saying to myself, you're a fraud. You don't deserve this success. You don't have what it takes. And I just thought, I can't live this way. How can I show up and smile and, hey, yeah, read this book, it'll make a difference. And then on my own, I'm saying to myself, Obi, you're terrible. You don't have what it takes. You're not good at this. You're not good at that. And I realized that in a sense, I've got an enemy within, right? And that enemy wasn't the market. It wasn't the business strategy. The enemy wasn't in our finance. The enemy was internal. And I realized the battle that I'm going to have to fight is the battle over me. And the most challenging thing about battling yourself is no one knows yourself better than you. So I can say to myself, oh, yeah, but look at what you did yesterday. But look at how you said that. And oh, yeah, but I know that you've got a weakness there and you've got a weakness there. And so it's very difficult. And so when I came across this quote of Aristotle, some people say it might be other people, but generally it's considered to be Aristotle, right? That the hardest victory is over self, that Obi, you are going to have to battle your internal blockers, your fears, your doubts, your limiting beliefs. If you are going to serve the world in a way that is purposeful, in a way that is true, then the thing that you're going to have to confront the most is those internal doubts and beliefs and fears that you have. And so, and I'm grateful, obviously, for the journey of the Stephen Covey book and all of the other development that I'd done over the years, because it was part of what helped me through that transition and say, you've got to take your own medicine. You've got to apply this for yourself. And the other thing that it did for me is it made me realize, and Obi, you need to recognize that this is hard work. You can't just fake this stuff. This is hard work. You've got to put in the effort of sitting down and working, okay, what are your values? You've got to put in the effort of surfacing, okay, what are the beliefs that are holding you back and how do you reframe them? You've got to put in the effort of just looking at your mindset and looking at your habits and what are some of the habits, what are some of the mental choices you're making that are holding you back. You've got to put in the hard work of investing in yourself internally so that you are in a place where you're able to push through that internal wall of opposition. So when I'm training people or speaking to leaders or coaching them, I know what it takes. I know what it takes to have a breakthrough. I know what it takes to, I also know what it takes to, or know what it's like to feel so down and so dark and feel, hey, there's no hope. I want out. I know what that is like. And I realized, wow, the hardest victory really is over self more than anything. If you want to show up as your best self, you've got to just overcome some of those internal blockers. So that's what that means for me.
I love it, man. So I'm gonna share. I have something to share here with you, and have another question for that. So it's like, see, self mastery or victory over self. It's something which for me is exactly taking ownership of your life, because I'm hearing so many people consider me as well before, when it always something outside of you is to blame for your position in life, your parents, your history, your ancestors, your money, your country, your culture, or whatever. But what I realized is, even though we were not so aware and conscious when we were children, and consider that we have learned a lot of things in our childhood, we decided to accept that. Actually, yes, we were not super aware. That's true. If some people say you're a child, yeah, that's true. But what also is true is that you accepted it and you decided to run your life with this. What I mean by that is your beliefs, your principles, your values, your everything which is running your life, you decided to put it there. And what is the empowering part of that is that you can do the other also. You can remove it from your life and you can put something else there. And this is the thing, because if you see yourself as a victim, you don't see that you have a choice. But you realize that you have a choice because you put it there. You can take it out and you can get something else which is more empowering and more constructive in your life right now. And this is the thing. This is there is a great book. I'm sure you know that it's Dr. Joe Dispenza is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That's the name of the book, and it's very connected with that you realize who you are and we want to become, and then you can decide what you need to change. And everything we change is habits, mind habits, physical habits, whatever habits. So you decide to change this and you create something new, so you can create a new life. Because we also need to realize that we create our outside world, but what is inside. And this is the thing which, guys, people like Obi and me, we are working, because if you don't make that, everything else is just manifestation of that. Absolutely. of this internal change you're gonna create in your life. And this is mastery over you will create mastery over whatever area in your life you want to have mastery. It doesn't matter if it's intimate relationships, friendships, business, work, career, whatever is there, family. So you're gonna create that, and that's the very important part. Every one of us, again, to stay with that and realize that you create your life. Every morning when I wake up, one of the first things which I say to myself, I have this routine for 1 hour with different things. But the one thing I do is I have these declarations, which is, one of them is like, I am creator and I'm the created. So I'm going to create something beautiful today. Yeah. And
that's beautiful.
It's working. Yeah, right. Thank you, man. So it's working. It's just, you put this intention out there and say, I am creator. What am I going to create today? It's exciting. What am I going to create today in the world?
Yeah.
It is. It's super exciting. And you just get excited for the day, right? Yeah. So wow, what would I want to create? It's like this childlike thing, you know? Like, I want to get out today and create something beautiful. What is gonna be?
Yeah. That's so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah, and this is the thing, man. It is an intentions declarations. This kind of thing, they help you to really create in your life, and it's so freeing to know that you can do that. I don't say that it's easy. It's not. You have a lot of blocks sometimes, but that's the beauty of it. You went through that. So just one additional idea here on this topic is, tell me, so what was the hardest thing you need to master over or get victory over yourself so far in your life?
It's a really good question, actually. One of the hardest
or most challenging, whatever
you
feel like.
Most challenging. I think so. Not growing up with a father for me has it can play out two ways. Some people become this overachiever, right? Because you're just trying to prove your manhood or masculinity or whatever it is, and you're driven by ego, and the other option is you feel you just don't have what it takes, and because you haven't had an older role model. And this could apply, whether you're male or female, right? But just an older role model in your life who believes in you and who loves you and supports you. And I got a lot of that encouragement from my mom. I mentioned that with my book. But there was, not having a father left its scars for me. There was definitely this feeling of inadequacy and do I have what it takes, and can I really do difficult things? Can I really do challenging things? And that's been something that I've had to really work hard at with some of the visualizations that I've done, and even just working through, you talk about the your kind of mantras, right? And things that you say to yourself. And that for me was something that I've really had to work on, that internal confidence and belief, trusting in who we are as human beings, our innate creativity. And even I like the way you described it. You talked about, being a victim. I mean, I could say, right, oh, I'm a victim. I didn't have this, or I didn't have that support, and I've had to work hard and achieve things. And yes, what may have happened to me or some of the disadvantages I've had in life, they may not be my fault, but they're absolutely my responsibility. If I let it stick, that's because I have chosen to let it stick. And so reframing my story, my life story, the narrative of me growing up, even and last year was a really interesting one as a Black man and with BLM, and just at a human level, just the narrative of, well, is one race more important than another, and all of that, and fighting to overcome that as well, and just say, actually, we're all creative human beings. We all of equal worth. We all have something to offer. And so shaking off some of those mental barriers and blocks about how I see myself and the worth that I have, and therefore the difference that I can make, has been one of the hardest to overcome. And a part of the way I've had to overcome it actually is to stop playing that game, is to stop playing the comparison game. Stop saying, oh, but am I better than that? Or, is that, but it's like, forget that game and just play a game that is all about serving and connecting. And people could say, oh yeah, but Obi, you're here. Yeah, but there's always someone that's better than you if you look at some of the metrics. So stop playing that and just go out there and serve, and there you don't have to deal with all of that internal conflict of how do I compare against other people. So that's something that comes to mind.
Love it, man. Love it. We are going to have something about this conversation. Guys, prepare next year. We're going to have another conversation with Obi, and we're going to talk a lot about how actually to stop this comparison game and go a little bit more with the connection.